Hey everybody, welcome to another stream. We are doing more of our guide today. We're going to do the cape. We did the weapon yesterday, we did the sword specifically, and a little bit of the detached arm, as you can see. So today, we're going to go back to the main body because we actually want to do the cape before attaching this, because it's going to block a certain section of the cape and the belt loop. So we need to have access to that before we put that on. We're going to use more special tools today. We're going to, here we go. We're going to use another makeup sponge for the entire thing, plus maybe a little edge highlighting with the brush. But this is going to be our primary tool. Another little makeup sponge. It's going to be very exciting. But this is how we're going to get a nice smooth blend. Now the cape is a blue, and I have all the colors lined up here for how we're gonna do this today. I'm pretty excited about it. All right, let's take a look here. Okay, so first thing, the cape is actually one of the most easy sections to paint because the light areas are obvious. It's just the raised areas of the cape. We don't need to be too choosy because it's just pointed out to us very easily. The thing that you don't want to do, and is going to be pretty easy to not do with the makeup brush, is that we don't want to get into the deep recesses there so that we don't mess up the natural shadows that we've already established just with the normal color. So this should be pretty fun. This should be pretty easy. I'm excited to see what there is. I've never done this, by the way. I've never used this on the cape. I've always used either the rough sponge to do like a rough stipple, but with this guy, I'm gonna try a smoother blend. So let's see how this works. Okay, let's prep our palette. Zoom out a little bit. I didn't put any paper on again, so you get to hear the crinkles of me putting this paper on. Okay. And then we have our handy dandy paper notepad here on the side, just out of view. I wish I had like a dedicated palette cam. That might be helpful. I wonder where I'd put it on this new layout. Probably I'd take a little section of the chat off or make it a little smaller. But that's for later. That's thoughts for later. So first thing, the deep ocean blue is the original base tone of the cape. So we're gonna go up the hues, and this is gonna be our mid-tone, a phalanx blue. And then this is gonna be our top highlight, Aegis Aqua. So it's pretty bright, but that's what I wanted. I wanna see how well that goes. I want it to be exaggerated because the gold is pretty exaggerated. It goes almost to white in its highlight, so I want the cape to be the same. So let me put on my glasses, because I still can't see. We'll apply our paints. I still have like a weird cough, so excuse me if I'm coughing a little bit today, or going like that on stream. Oh, this is very thick. I haven't actually used this color before, so it's probably gonna need a little bit of extra mixing. There we go. So we'll start just with that. And let's remember how to apply it to the makeup brush. You're just dipping it, getting a good surface area there, and then kind of pulling out, tapping gently, and then test it on a piece of paper if you have one, because you want it to get pretty light, because you're essentially applying layers and layers and layers of a powdery texture. And we're gonna put the model, there we go. Zoom in. Okay, let's do like one of the most obvious areas, like that knee right there. See how we can get that highlighted up. I'm gonna hit this little pauldron. It's unavoidable. We'll kind of fix it later, but it's gonna be pretty hard not to hit that pauldron. I should have done that last because it's such a obstructed piece. But it's okay. That's easy. You remember how we did it. It's going to be easy enough to fix. So here's our first highlight layer. Coming down that raised ridge. So you can already see it coming through with that first hue. And it even takes the shape of the knee there, which is fantastic. I actually wasn't expecting that. The blend is awesome. Just add a little more paint. That's the other thing about these makeup sponges is that they dry out pretty quick. So you will need to kind of periodically reapply, test, and then come back to the subject. And it's going to take a lot of taps, so don't be surprised. But this is where you're going to get those smooth blends. That's why it's going to take a lot of taps. But wow, even just with that first layer, that's already looking great. So let's keep going. Just applying more paint. A little bit more. Yeah, really, these makeup sponges, I don't know if it's the particular brand, Daiso, that I'm using here, but it really, really dries out fast. So let's go to the other largest ridge. Starting at the top. Don't be too concerned if you hit the belt, because that's going to be a completely different color. And again, you remember how we did the gold. It's easy enough to fix. Don't be too scared. Might even be a good exercise. Need a lot more paint. It's just too dry. There we go, starting to get some coverage. It really does take a lot of taps, so be ready for that. And the reason I've chosen this one with like a little point at the end is because it helps me with control. There's all kinds of shapes of these things, so get what you like, or get what you think is going to be best for your particular project. But I like the ones with this kind of teardrop shape. So I think they work best for control. There we are. See, I did a little bit too hard of a tap and it got bled over there. We can fix that. We'll just go back with the original base tone color. Don't be discouraged if you do something like that. It's going to happen. Also, your wet palette is an easy way to sort of reactivate the paint because, like I said, this dries out really quickly. You don't necessarily even need to reapply more paint. Just tap it on your wet palette to get some of that moisture back, and you'll be able to keep going. we go. There's that layer. Let's keep going around. We'll sort of start with the front area so that we can experiment here. Because remember, this is my first time doing it too. See how we like it. And if we need to make any changes. Let's get a little more paint on there. Go. That's what we're looking for. That front area a little brighter. Okay, so let's fix that little area there. And for fixing, we're going to try a brush. And it's going to be that deep ocean blue. I'm going to thin it out a lot, actually, because we want this to be just thin enough so that we don't mess up our gradient that we've established already. It's going to be almost like a glaze. Okay. Let's just try. So that should help with the transition. We'll probably do one more little layer of that. That light glaze. From her happy little accident there. Okay, moving on. Let's try the higher highlight. The Aegis Aqua. Okay. It's a very thick paint. Okay, so be a little more careful with this one because this is, again, that peak. You don't want it necessarily all over the thing. Just in the higher raised areas. I'm trying my best to use the tip only. Very lightly tapping to retain that transition. Going up here. There we go. Oh yeah, that's making it look nice and pronounced. I'm trying to be sparing with this. The makeup sponge sort of naturally hits the most raised areas without having too much effort. So look at that. I think that's a pretty neat transition. Pretty swell. For the side of the cape here, we're just going to do an edge highlight for that, rather than the powdery blend that we're seeing here. Because it is an edge, and it needs to be a little more pronounced than these sort of subtle curves that we're getting from the I already have the best viewers. I can't believe spam gets through. There we go. But look at that. I think that looks pretty great. Do a little bit up top. Although that's going to be more or less covered by the blade once we attach it. It's nice to do. Just for a completionist's sake. Going up. And coming back down. Blending that transition. But see how much I've hit that that pauldron? Don't worry. We'll fix it. I think that looks pretty great. Very nice blend, very nice transition there. Much nicer than I kind of expected. So let's do the back now. This one we can be a lot more, we're more at ease with this one because there's not a whole lot of areas that we can hit naturally. Of course, the back of the pauldron there, but, or the greave, or no, it's not a pauldron. It's a, well, actually, if it's on the leg like that, is it called a pauldron? I'm not sure. But let's keep going. Keeping this momentum, this positive momentum. Okay, coming down. Top of this curve, this ridge. And this last one. The thing that we're going to be careful with here is the back of that calf. So I'm repositioning the model here. But we hit it anyway. But that's still a small enough area where I'm not too concerned. We can fix it. These are all good learning opportunities. Don't ever think that they're not. Everything that you do here is an effort to learn. Okay. I think this is going to look a lot better when we do the edge highlighting because it's going to really bring out the rest of the, I guess, feel of the cape or the shape of the cape. Because right now it's looking pretty, it's not flat, but it's like, it's not defined. So let's do that really quick. Let's see if we can bring some of the lines into this shape. So I'm going to do that by edge highlighting the front here with the mid-tone first. Using the normal edge highlighting method, the edge of the brush. Yeah, see, just by doing that, it gives it a lot more character. We'll do the bottom in a minute, but we'll just start with this. And for this, you keep using the mid-tone for the initial edge highlight. It may take a couple of coats to really get on there. We're looking good. And then at the bottom is the bottom of the cape there. That's where you use the higher tone. It's really just for the corner. This. Just for a little visual candy, so to speak. There we go. Boom. Okay, that looks a lot better. Just giving it a defined shape. That's what the purpose of that is. Now we can take it a little further, do the edge highlighting just on the bottom of these curves here with the highest tone, just to show how bold that seam is. Just like that. Don't have to if you like it the way it is, but I'm gonna give that a try. I like giving it a little bit more of a defined edge. There we go. I think that looks pretty good. Let's keep going around. Actually, we need to do the higher highlight on the back here. Go ahead and do that. That up a little bit more. Yeah, I'm really liking how this blend is turning out. It's very nice. More makeup sponge wins right now. Liking it a lot more than the brush. Okay. Yeah, that's looking really good. Little spot I want to touch up there. There we go. Better. Okay. Now we're just going back over a little bit to refine. We'll do this last part here. This is a pretty chill stream today. It's nice. Okay. There we go. That cape looks pretty good. There's a few little areas that we can touch up, and I think we need to put one more little glaze layer on that mistake that we made earlier. I mean me. It's nice to, in this setting, say we. We, the royal we, not me messing up. Okay, just put a little more right there. And I am going to bring that glaze down to make that area, that recess, a little darker. Okay. And you can use this same glaze to sort of refine the darkened areas a little bit if you feel that you need to. I think I'm going to do a little bit right here. Remember, glaze is just a really, 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 really watered down version of the color. You just water it down until it's barely opaque enough. And I'm just doing this to fix any little bit of over coverage from that makeup brush, or that makeup sponge. Just in case there was any. Here's pretty good. To refine those edges just a little bit. I think for here, I want to do a little bit more of that mid-tone. Because I think that it looks like it sort of isn't complete, because that technically is all a raised area, and I was avoiding it because it was so close to the pauldron, or the leg guard. But we're going to be bold on this stream. Fearless. There we go. Yeah, I think that looks better. Okay. I think we took care of that mistake pretty well. One more layer to darken that up. Just a little bit, because maybe the camera doesn't pick it up, but I can see it, and I want it to be just a teeny tiny bit darker. This little recess here. Boom. Okay. Now let's go back and edge highlight the other side. And then I think we'll be able to attach the, oh, no, actually. I want to do the belt first, which is gonna be a simple brown belt. It's not gonna be anything fancy. And then we'll fix the pauldron first, because if I put the arm on, that's gonna be inaccessible, and I'm gonna have a weird blue pauldron leg guard. Whatever. Okay, taking that top highlight tone. Just like I did before, just doing the edge of the bottom to accentuate the raised areas. Be a little bit more careful on this, because if you push too hard, or you end up messing up the, not messing up, but if you push too hard, what'll happen is the bristles of the brush will spread, and it'll always spread sort of in the direction, the opposite of where you want to be. I mean, that seems pretty obvious, but a lighter touch is a lot of the time better than a firm touch in this particular case. Okay, let's take a look here. It's looking pretty good. Bring that other highlight up just a little bit, kind of feather it. That's one of the boldest highlights there. There we go. It's like the front. So you want it to be front and center, pretty bold if you can. But that looks pretty great, don't you think? Yes, said everybody in unison. All right, so let's fix that pauldron. We're gonna need our golds again. We will start with basically rebasing, or recolor basing the color with a dark green brown. because not that we have to start over, but we kind of do. If you go try to just go over the blue, you will leave some behind, and you're gonna regret it later. So I'm just gonna bite the bullet and do that now. Plus, it'll be a little good opportunity to reestablish how to do this. Your biggest obstacle here is not touching your beautiful blue gradient cape with this green. But that should be easy enough. The pauldron is a pretty easy surface. There we go. Good and fixed. Let's do the other side. Super quick. Let that dry. Man, this Pro Acryl paint is very quickly becoming my favorite. It's just so easy to use. It comes out great. Whatever they use as the binder is very, very forgiving. And I guess what I mean by forgiving is that it's very smooth. It has no thickness, and it doesn't dry very fast. I can keep going and going. It's very, very nice to use. So thank you, Pro Acryl. Not sponsored, although I wish I was. That would be super cool. Okay. So now that we've base toned that, let's get our little sponge tool, the other sponge tool, the PC component grabber. I'm gonna try and use a little. You gotta be, this is where we have to actually be. We weren't careful the first time that we used this because we were gonna repaint the cape anyway, but now that we've already painted the cape, we gotta be a little more careful. And we can do it. I believe in us. Okay. Starting with the mid-tone for the non-metallic gold formula that we did. And we are being careful. Going lightly across the edges. Being conscious not to touch that cape with our sponge. This is one of the times where I'm gonna be probably more careful than usual. Good. Step one done. You can breathe. Step two, orange. Okay. We're still on the edge here because the edge is the most reflective part, but it's also the closest to the cape. So still being super careful. Okay. There we go. It's coming back together. Here comes the butter yellow. It's going to turn it into gold officially. Again, this is where we demonstrate our patience and ability to control the medium. Pay attention to where your sponge is. See, I didn't even get a big enough sponge to do this. I'm trying to be super careful. Just tearing off another little piece. We'll try that again. There we go. Okay. There we go. Now I can see it. Looking good. We are successfully repairing this pauldron. And now we'll go for the final highlight. Keep saying pauldron. Leg guard. Whatever the hell it is. I don't know. I don't think anybody cares. Call it whatever. Okay, and then here's the bright pale yellow to finish off the effect. There we go. Could probably be a little bolder. I'm gonna do one more teeny tiny pass. See if we can push that just a little more, especially up at the edge here. And the bottom. There we go. Success. And there's one little area that we can sort of fix. Probably already saw it, but I think we went a little too far with one of the highlights there. There we go. Keeping it refined. Boom. Fix done. Don't go any further. Remember, this is going to be obstructed. So this is really just a, like, if someone happens to catch that, then you're covered. Okay. Let's attach the blade and see how we do. Oh, wait. Actually, the blade needs its pommel done. Let's do that really quick and we'll attach it. Same things, same methods. It's the sponge, using all the colors that we've already prepared. We'll take a look at this. Be careful around this blade. Remember, you worked so hard on this using the makeup sponge last time. So let's keep that nice and refined. And you're really looking for the edges of this thing. That's where the light is going to hit it the most, of course. Don't have enough sponge. Let's try that again. With a little more sponge. I was too timid with that sponge. It wasn't actually doing any coverage, but we need the coverage. So let's keep going. There we go. I'm going to have it be essentially one side being an exaggerated lighted area. So it's going to be like the sun is hitting that side, the left side, and the right side is going to be a little bit obscured shadow. So it'll give it an effect that I think you'll enjoy, or at least I will. Okay. Let's go to the next color. Let that dry a little bit. This is that orange. Just gonna use paper. No, that's not a good enough sponge. So this is why you need to test, because sometimes you will get a pattern on the sponge that isn't helpful, meaning that like it only hits one area and you're not able to use that. So always test on like a piece of paper or on your wet palette, whichever you prefer. Because I want it to get a little drier, I use a piece of paper. Okay, focusing on the edges. Needs a little more, I think, and for it to go a little further. A little bit past the middle. There we go, that's better. Okay. And that effect is really going to start shining when we do the next color. The actual gold color, or the yellow. Okay. Here we go. Let's make this gold. Being super careful around the blade here. Success. Holding my breath. Whew. Okay. It's looking pretty good. The last highlight. See if we can make this sparkle. I think that looks pretty good. We're gonna do one last thing. I'm gonna go over the sort of the middle area with the orange color, just so that we can do really one thing, and that's establish that the light is traveling just a little bit and give it a little texture. You'll see what I mean in just a second. And yes, I know I hit the glove. It's okay. We'll fix that later. Okay. Got a little too far here. Let's fix that. There we go. Gave it just a little bit of texture. Now let's do some dot highlighting here. And really what we're gonna do is we're just highlighting the tops of the rubies and this little spikes. So there's a few here. Because no matter what, those are going to be extremely reflective. And if you can, do it only on the one side. So again, it looks like the sun is hitting that one side. Oh, sorry. The silent monkey face. I hope that doesn't mean I'm being too quiet. I'm sure that I am. Here we go. Or does it mean that my microphone isn't even recording? I hope it's the first one, that I'm just being too quiet. Oh, okay. Well, thank you for being here. So we're doing the one side. I think that looks pretty good, because the goal is to make it look like the sun is coming from the left for the non-metallic gold pommel. Let's do one little fix here. And that's, I'm gonna add just some micro dots here for as best I possibly can. Just that. There we go. Nope, I'm not in focus. Just refining this edge right here, because that is an edge. There we go. And one way you can push this is, watch what I'm gonna do now. There's a little edge or a little lip that's right here that is technically an edge that's getting hit by the light, and I'm gonna accentuate it by edge highlighting. Doing my absolute best to not touch the blade. There we go. So that brings the effect a little bit closer to reality. Now, man, I wish I had autofocus. So I don't have to keep messing with that. I went a little over. I'm just gonna fix that by feathering right here to maintain that edge. There we go. Because remember, it's just a gleam that we're looking for. Perfect. Very, very last thing. Let's do the gauntlet on the bottom so that when we attach this, everything's uniform. Very easy. Just taking our colors. This is the first highlight. You can be pretty exaggeratory right here. Don't mind hitting the what is it? Oh my God, the grip, because that is not going to be done using any sponges. That's going to be a brush. That's going to be probably the easiest thing on this whole model to do. So here's that mid-tone. Let that dry. This is really going to bring the room together when we fix this or finish this. Okay. Now let's go add the brighter orange. Another reason why I like Pro Acryl is that it dries extremely quickly. There we go. A little brighter. And then we'll do the butter yellow. Turn it back into gold. Here we go. Absolutely, I am. I'm excited to join. I didn't do it this time because I was busy with a few other things. I didn't want to like accidentally make a commitment and not follow through, but I'm gonna be able to next time. I'm super excited about it. There we go. Now it's gold. Buttery gold. And we'll add the final highlight. Oh yeah, I was looking at the submissions. I was like, wow, there's some next level stuff in there. The winner, I think, deserved it. Those transitions, those blends were fantastic. There we go. All done. So now we have a nice non-metallic metal from top to bottom sword. What do you think? I think it turned out swell. Darn swell. And when we attach it to the model, it's going to look even better. Okay. Now, because we have it here, we're going to do the grip. The grip is going to be the same effect as the, or the same color as the cape, because this is sort of like a two-tone guy, blue, gold. We want the tertiary colors to match. So this is that same base tone as the cape. It's the deep blue. And then we're going to put a wash over this to keep it simple. Don't need to be super fancy with this grip because everything else is so fancy. There we go. Plus it also makes the gold pop. That blue. It's very nice. Okay. Let's attach him. Let's see what we did. Now, because I've painted this, the normal way you would attach it, like when you're just doing building models, is with the plastic glue. Because it's painted, that really won't work. So we needed to use the super glue, which is easy. But the consequence of having to use super glue is you have to be just a little bit more careful with the placement of it, because in some cases, the super glue doesn't actually dry clear. It will dry with kind of a cloudy color. And if that's the case with this particular Gorilla Glue, that is the case. So you have to be very sparing with the application and only get it in the areas where it's going to be invisible. Thankfully, actually, in the case of this particular model, the attachment points are pretty easy to spot. They're not like on some of the like 40K models. Oop, just super glued my finger to that. That's okay. Oh, dang it. Did it on both sides. But that's okay. Didn't mess anything up. The application, that was just me messing up off camera. Yeah, a little moisture makes it bubble. Exactly. Gotta be careful with this. So here we go. Let's apply as careful as we can. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this on camera. But I'm gonna try. If I mess up, I'll blame somebody other than me. I'm holding the blade. I wish I wasn't. Okay. Trying my best here. To not get super. Dang it! I got super glue on the cape. Damn. But we'll fix it. I'm gonna do it off camera. There we go. But see, I got a little bit of super glue on the cape. Not ideal. But we can only do our best here. And we have to let that super glue dry completely before we apply any fixes, which I believe it has, because otherwise you're just going to super glue your brush. So let's get rid of the shine, essentially. Painting over the glue. Because the shine is going to make it appear obvious. Thankfully, our paints apply matte, or at least dry matte. Okay. And to fix that part, we go back over with our makeup sponge. Again, the purpose of this fix is to take away the shine that super glue has left. By applying paint, it's going to dry matte over it. There's not going to be a way to 100% fix it. I know that's disappointing, but hey, this is a learning stream. And it will be pretty invisible by the time we finish. It's essentially the same as like you left the mold line on the model. You can either deal with it or be sad. We're gonna deal with it. There we go. Aw, cute. Okay. We are pretty close to finishing out today's stream. I may be done by the time you get back. So sorry if I am. But I do have a little bit of a time limit on these. I typically keep it to an hour. But here we go. I think that looks friggin' fantastic. Despite a couple mess ups here and there, I think we look great. We'll fix that calf. That bright blue calf. We just at least base coat that so it's not so stark. There we go. Boom. Turned out fantastic. Let's apply some of these just little highlights that we can do on the grip just to make it pop just a teeny bit more. And that's going to take our edge highlighting, touch the ridges of, or the ridges of what you would see the light flicker off of on the leather. Leather is not super reflective, so it's going to be just little tiny dots. Just to show you that there's some texture there. Just like that. Nothing fancy, nothing fancy. But see that super glue? It's virtually gone now. It's there, I can see it as like a bump, but the mat is back. And that's what we need to, quote unquote, fix that problem. Just one more teeny tiny layer of the matte paint. There on the most shiny bit. There we go. But I think this guy turned out, or is turning out, fantastic. Here's a quick 360. Boom. Side. Back. We'll fix that calf. Side. Front. Look at that. Fantastic. Mostly done with sponges from this whole thing. I think that it looks great. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. All right. That's going to conclude today. I appreciate you, anybody who watched. Thank you, artists, for joining me. Hopefully I'll see you again next time. Have a good night.